This is the $1,000,000 highway. 25 miles of two-lane road cut through the San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado. It has no guardrails through most of its most dangerous sections. Not because they couldn't install them, because they decided not to. This is the story of America's most unforgiving mountain road, and the choice that keeps it that way. The $1,000,000 highway runs between two small towns in southwestern Colorado. Ouray sits at 7,800 feet at the bottom of a box canyon. Silverton is 25 miles south at 9,300 feet. To get between them, you go over Red Mountain Pass. The road narrows to 23 feet in places. That's barely enough for two vehicles to pass without one of them slowing down. There's no shoulder. On the outside of certain curves, there's a painted white line. Beyond that line, there are several hundred feet of open canyon. The San Juan Mountains get around 300 inches of snow per year. The road stays open year-round, but it closes temporarily for weather and avalanche control throughout winter. Conditions at the summit and through the gorge are different from conditions in Ouray or Silverton. That gap catches people off guard on the way up. But before you can understand what makes this road dangerous today, you have to go back to the 1870s. Silver and gold were being pulled out of the San Juan Mountains. The problem was access. The terrain between Ouray and Silverton was not passable by wagon. Ouray needed to move. Supplies needed to come in. The mountains made that nearly impossible. A man named Otto Mears had already put several roads through southwestern Colorado by then. He was known locally as the Pathfinder of the San Juans. In 1880, a private company started cutting a road from Ouray up through the Uncompahgre Gorge. They ran out of money by 1882. Mears bought a majority stake and took over. His crews blasted through 8.5 miles of solid rock. The cost ran to roughly $40,000 per mile. The road was completed in 1883 and operated as a private toll road. It wasn't built for scenery. It wasn't built for tourism. It was built because the mines needed it. And it was built through the only path the terrain allowed. The state took it over in 1887. The road deteriorated, then was rebuilt in the early 1920s for automobiles and became part of the federal highway system in 1926. The roadbed today still follows the same path Mears' crews cut in 1883. The fact that there was only ever one path through is what shapes everything about this road, including the decision that defines it. The question most people ask about this road: why no guardrails? The answer is not complicated. The San Juan Mountains receive around 300 inches of snow per year. Keeping this road open through winter requires constant plowing. The road is narrow. When you plow a narrow mountain road, you need somewhere to push the snow. And through the gorge sections, the only place to push it is over the edge. Guardrails block that. The plows can't clear the road with guardrails in the way. Colorado has installed guardrails in sections where the road is wide enough to allow it. There are guardrails on the $1,000,000 highway, just not through the stretches where most people want them, the stretches where the canyon drops hundreds of feet from the road's edge. The choice, as it's been made, is straightforward. No guardrails through the narrowest sections, and the road stays open year-round. Guardrails through those sections, and the road closes every winter. Colorado chose to keep it open. What that means in practice is also straightforward. When a vehicle leaves the road on an unprotected section, there is nothing between it and the canyon below. In August 2025, a car went over the edge south of Ouray. 2 adults died. A child in the back seat survived. Recovery crews had to hike into the canyon to reach the vehicle. It wasn't visible from the road. That outcome is not unusual on this road. It's what the terrain produces when something goes wrong. And the terrain also produces another threat entirely, one that was killing people here long before the road existed. There are 124 documented avalanche chutes crossing US 550 between Ouray and Silverton. That's roughly 1/5 of all monitored avalanche paths in the entire state of Colorado. concentrated in 25 miles of road. The Colorado Avalanche Information Center works with the Colorado Department of Transportation to manage the risk. The road closes when conditions require it. Controlled releases are used to bring down unstable snow before it releases on its own. Avalanche speeds on these paths can reach 150 miles per hour. The last recorded fatality from an avalanche on the highway was 1992. 2 men were caught by a slide near Red Mountain Pass. One survived after digging out through 20 feet of compacted snow. The other died of hypothermia before rescuers reached him. Since then, the monitoring and control program has kept the road clear without another fatality. That's not luck. It's the result of consistent forecasting, controlled blasting, and closures whenever the risk is too high. One of the most active slide paths, the East Riverside Zone, now has a concrete snowshed built over the road, so slides pass over the highway rather than onto it. But managed or not, avalanches and open edges are not the only ways this road becomes dangerous. The way the road is built, narrow, exposed, and shared, creates its own problems every season. The speed limit through the most exposed sections is 25 miles per hour. Some curves are signed for 10. Most drivers take those limits seriously. The geometry of certain turns makes higher speeds difficult to manage, especially heading south from Ouray, where you're on the outside of the road and the canyon is directly beside your driver's door. Direction matters more on this road than on most. Driving north from Silverton toward Ouray, you hug the mountain wall. The drop is on your passenger side. Driving south from Ouray toward Silverton, you're on the outside edge the whole way through the gorge. Same road, but a very different experience depending on which seat you're in. Large vehicles use this road. There are no restrictions preventing RVs or commercial trucks from driving it. When 2 large vehicles meet on a narrow curve, one of them is stopping. That's how it works. The 25 miles takes around 45 minutes in good conditions. Slower in winter, slower in rain, slower whenever. You're meeting oncoming traffic through the tightest sections. Most people figure this out on the road itself. The Colorado State Patrol investigated 143 accidents between 2013 and 2023. 8 of those were fatal. And every single one of the fatal and injury crashes happened on the same 14-mile stretch, between mile markers 78 and 92. The crash reports from that stretch follow a consistent pattern. In May 2013, a car left the road at mile marker 79 and spent 51 feet in the air before hitting the canyon below. In November 2015, troopers measured a car that had traveled 202 feet through the air after slipping off the pavement. Those numbers are not descriptions of minor incidents. They're what happens when a vehicle leaves an unguarded edge on a road built into the side of a canyon. One of the most striking entries in those reports is from April 2015. A fatal crash at mile marker 89. It wasn't discovered for 6 days. The vehicle had gone over the edge on a section where the road curves away from the drop and nobody spotted it from above. That's not an anomaly. That's what recovery on this road looks like. The canyon below is steep, unstable, and inaccessible by vehicle in most places. Emergency crews hike in. The wreckage is often not visible from the road at all. Response time depends on where the incident happened and what conditions are. A helicopter needs a weather window. The road runs through 2 counties. Jurisdiction is split between multiple agencies, and coordination takes time. There are no call boxes on the $1 million highway. Cell service is limited through the gorge, and in stretches, it's gone entirely. In January 2024, a professional snowboarder named Pat Milbury was driving over Red Mountain Pass in a blizzard when a gust of wind pushed his 4Runner off the edge. He was going maybe 7 miles per hour, crawling essentially. Both driver's side tires slipped off the pavement and the truck went over. It came to rest several hundred feet down, caught in a grove of trees above a cliff. Milbury survived. He had to climb back up to the road on his own. If something goes wrong between Ouray and Silverton, You are managing it yourself until help arrives. How long that takes is mostly outside your control. Nobody agrees where the name came from. There are several versions, and all of them circulate. The most documented one, in 1921, during planning discussions about rebuilding the road for automobile traffic, someone noted that the construction contracts added up to close to $1 million. For a 25-mile mountain road, that was a significant figure at the time. The name stuck. Other explanations come up regularly. The road cost $1 million per mile to build. The gravel used in construction contained gold and silver ore worth $1 million. Early drivers said they wouldn't travel it again for $1 million. None of those have the documentation the 1921 meeting has, but they all keep circulating because the name is unusual enough that people want an interesting explanation for it. The road was included in the San Juan Skyway Scenic Byway designation and has appeared on virtually every published list of significant American drives since those lists existed. The designation brought more attention. The attention brought more drivers. The road now carries around 2,300 vehicles per day. Thank you for watching. If you've driven the $1 Million Highway yourself, drop it in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this one, subscribing helps more than you'd think.